Welcome to the Maritime Vision podcast. I'm your host, Paul Wioli. In each episode, we bring you exclusive interviews with maritime professionals, industry experts, and students. Our guests come from different backgrounds, including shipping, yachting, offshore, supply chain, and more. Our goal is to give you all the knowledge you need to succeed in the maritime industry. Hello everyone, welcome back to a new podcast episode. And today we are joined by Prerak Gulati. It's a pleasure to having you in this podcast episode. So he's the founder of LEEWAY Brokers, like a shipbroking boutique in Dubai. You have a very interesting profile. You started working as a shipbroker, then you decided to create your own company. So it's very interesting, very inspiring. So can you maybe introduce yourself, please?
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the nice introduction. So my name is Prerak Gulati, and I have been in shipping for almost 13 to 14 years now. And before starting LEEWAY Brokers in 2018, I worked for different companies, 3 to 4 different broking companies. But all of my career has been as a dry bulk shipbrokers, and I worked for all the sizes, like from handy size up to cape size. I would say I was pretty lucky to work for even like 3,000 DWT vessel up to the cape size. So which is not possible for, I think, every broker in the world. So I was pretty lucky to get a chance to work on all the sizes.
That's interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about quickly dry bulk chartering, because as a shipbroker, of course, we have sales and purchase, we have tanker chartering, dry bulk chartering. Can you make a little overview of what is it?
Yeah. So if I talk about dry bulk chartering, so dry bulk you can relate to any commodity which is moving from one country to another in the bulk. So, for example, most of the shipments in the dry bulk is of commodity called iron ore, which is used as a raw material in the steel plants. And the second largest commodity which moves in the bulk carrier vessel is coal, and it is used in making electricity in the power plants and also in the steel plant. So coal is basically like two types of coal. One is called thermal coal, and another one is coking coal. Thermal coal is mainly used to make electricity, and I think it's about 78 to 80% of overall transportation in the world, and remaining 20% is of the coking coal, which is used in steel plant. And also there is a lot of grain cargoes which moves in dry bulk, which can be wheat, barley, soybean, rice, or maybe corn. These kind of things are also transported in dry bulk vessels. And there are also some other raw materials which are moved in dry bulk, which are used in different industries. Like for making cement, they transport slag and clinker. And there are some other commodities like limestone, and there are some semi-finished goods, which is we call it as break bulk. It is basically coming from the steel manufacturing plants, but these are not finished goods. These are like semi-finished steel products. It can be some steel pipes, it can be some steel coils or steel billets, and maybe steel rebars, something like that.
Okay, quite interesting. So you have a lot of commodities in dry bulk. Is it important to know each commodities in dry bulk, or you can specialize on one type of commodities as a dry bulk broker?
To be honest, you don't need specialization in all of the commodities, because being a broker, if you are acting as a dry bulk broker, even if you know how to fix the ship for the coal cargo, you will most likely know how to fix the ship for iron ore or grains as well, and even to some extent for steels also. So there is, of course, a difference in the transportation and the ship's requirement for every kind of commodity, but it is not so much difference that you will have a problem as a broker, because as a broker you of course need to have a lot of information which you can help guide your clients, whether it's charterers or a ship owner. But at the end of the day, the responsibility of transporting goods from one place to another is on the charterers and owners, depending upon the charter party they have signed.
Okay.
So, for example, if you fix the vessel for grain cargo, then if it's a voyage charter, of course, it is a responsibility of the head owner or the disponent owner to give you the vessel which is grain clean. By grain clean, I mean that vessel should be clean enough to load grain cargoes. It can be any cargo again, whether wheat or rice or soybean, anything, because these are consumable items. So you need super clean ships to transport such goods.
Okay.
At the same time, if as a broker you want to transport coal cargo, then you don't need ship to be so much clean as you need for the grain cargo, and you can just transport the coal, because coal at the end of the day is going to get used in the power plant or in the steel plant as a raw material.
Okay.
So for broker, I think does not matter a lot to differentiate on the commodity. So once a broker for any commodity, I think is always a broker.
Okay, quite clear. And what about the key driver of supply and demand with dry bulk? Is it for example, the consumers, like the people who are like us, or is it the charterer, the companies with the freight, or it works a little bit?
I think it's a mix of everything, because even like any industry, so shipping industry or dry bulk industry also affected by supply and demand. So if you talk about demand, then demand can be from, let's say, if there is an increase in population in some country, then of course there is an increase in consumption. And if the increase in consumption, they need more grain commodities, whether it's again wheat or rice or anything. So that's how the demand from that country may increase. And if there is some development in some country happening, like we saw during the FIFA last time in Qatar. So before the FIFA, there were a lot of constructions going on in Qatar, and there was a lot of import for the commodity called aggregates, which is like stones. So they were importing a lot of aggregates from different countries to make their infrastructure better. It is used in the development maybe of some buildings or roads or something like that. So I think it totally depends on various things. So let's say first, if there is more demand for the consumable, then the demand for grain will increase. If there is more demand for the infrastructure development, then there is a lot of demand which increase. For example, for when the infrastructure develops, you need a lot of steel. So for the steel, you go to steel plant and buy the steel. And for that, steel plant will increase their manufacturing. And to make more steel, they need more iron ore. And hence, the iron ore demand will increase. And then the ship demand will increase too. And also, sometimes demand and supply are affected by pandemic and by war, like we are seeing right now. In last few years, we have seen war between Russia and Ukraine. We have seen the current issue in the Gaza. So these things also affect supply and demand. So, for example, many ships are now not crossing Gulf of Aden and Red Sea. They have to take the longer route via Cape of Good Hope. So they are taking longer time to reach to Europe. So that will definitely affect the demand and supply of the vessel.
Okay. Very interesting. Can you predict a little bit the market by analyzing the demand, etc., to at least having trends for the future?
Yeah, I think like I've been telling to all my clients also, that my personal view for this coming year, we are already sitting in mid-year already. But I think this year will be better than last year. And I see that market will remain firm. And there are a few reasons behind it. Like we do not see a lot of new ships or new building deliveries coming in this year. There is a moderate amount of vessels which are going to get delivered this year or maybe even early next year. So which will keep the supply of the vessels in control. So when there is not too much supply of the vessels and the demand will still be there, then the market should remain firm. And I also see that Chinese economy was and still not doing very well. But I was in China last month, and I discussed with many people there. Some people were optimistic, some people were not. But I personally feel that China is such a big economy that they cannot remain on the downside for a long time. Such kind of big economy has to improve, and because if they really crash, then they will not be the only one. There will be many other countries will get affected by it. So it is eventually linked to many other countries as well. So I think the China economy will again start getting better, and when they start getting better, there will be still demand for ships, demand for import and export from China, and hence the market will remain firm.
Okay, quite interesting. Yeah, China, Asian is becoming very big in this industry. I've noticed on the Asian shipbrokers. I mean, it's very hard to find them, but we have a lot actually.
Yes, I think now I was reading somewhere that now the biggest ship owning country in the world since last year 2023 is China, and number 2 is Greece. It used to be like Greece. I'm sure many people know about it. It's there since last year.
And maybe South Korea and Japan will, especially South Korean, will take the second position after China.
Yes, I think so. I think there's a long way to go for South Korea and Japan in terms of ship owning.
But in shipbuilding, they're good.
Yeah, shipbuilding maybe, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just have a last question regarding the type of commodities. As a shipbroker, do you need to understand the handling process depending the type of commodities, because it can differ sometimes?
You mean like when we are doing any negotiation?
I mean, for example, you have iron ore on board the ship, and during negotiation, you know that iron ore it's like you have this specific this specificity with these commodities, and that you should know to process with negotiation, etc.
Yeah, for example, like I think the basic, if you're doing a grain cargo as a broker, you should always check whether the ship is grain clean or not.
Okay,
then only you can try that ship. If the ship is not clean enough, and if let's say if the ship has loaded some dirty cargo like pet coke or some other cargo which is clinker, so then you cannot load grain immediately after that. You can of course load, but for that you need a specific cleaning of the vessel. So your ship owner should be ready to do that, and it should have enough time to do the cleaning and then reach the load port within the loading laycan of the cargo, which is very, very rare unless the ship is really stuck and do not have any business. But in last, I think, couple of years, and we have seen that market has been very firm and ship owners are very happy. So I don't think anyone will invest a lot of time to just clean the ship and then wait to get the cargo, because there's a lot of demand. They can load any cargo and still get decent amount of money.
Okay, quite clear. Can you explain the most common charter agreements in the dry bulk market?
In the dry bulk market, most common ones, I think there are 3 type of most common. So one is a voyage charter, second one is a time charter, and third one is a time charter trip. So now let me explain one by one. So,
yes.
Like I understand that many of your listeners might not also be like proper shipping professionals. So is it okay if I explain in bit of a easy and layman language?
Oh, you can go deeper. They understand. Yeah, most of them, they have good insights.
Okay, perfect.
Don't be scared.
So for example, if I talk about voyage charter, it is something like you hire a chauffeur-driven car. For example, let's say you have 100 boxes and you want to ship those 100 boxes from New York to New Jersey, and you hire a chauffeur-driven car or a truck, and you tell them that I have these boxes, like 100 boxes, and I want to transport it from New York to New Jersey, and how much you will charge. Then the chauffeur-driven car or a truck can tell you that I need maybe $1 per box. So I need $100 to transport these from one place to another. So when you pay per box or per ton, it is called voyage charter. And in that case, in case you want to transport, you just pay lump sum $100 or $1 per ton to the chauffeur-driven car owner or the ship owner in the shipping case, and he will do the rest for you. He will pick up your cargo and he will drop it to the place you have agreed with him, and he will not ask you anything extra over and above that.
Okay.
And when we talk about time charter is also known as period charter in the shipping language. In this case, when you hire a chauffeur-driven car, you just don't hire from New York to New Jersey, or let's say point A to point B. You hire this chauffeur-driven car for, let's say, maybe for 10 days. And in 10 days, you have a chauffeur, you have a car, and now you can go anywhere you like on that car, from one place to another, from another to another. And at the same time, you have to pay for the fuel and pay for the parking of that car.
Okay.
Same way in shipping, when you hire a vessel on a time charter or a period, you hire for maybe 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, even 10 years, and you take ship from one port to another, then to another, then to another, depending upon your pre-agreement of the trading regions with the ship owner. But at the same time, you yourself put the bunker in the ship, and you yourself pay for the port cost wherever you go, or if there is any such kind of transport related cost. For example, if you cross Gulf of Aden, then you like pay for the Gulf of Aden cross transit. And the third one is time charter trip. It is very similar to time charter, but we call it trip because it is agreement to go from one point to another point only. So let's say again, you have a chauffeur-driven car from New York to New Jersey, but in this case, you don't pay by per ton. You just pay them per day as a hire.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, if you have to come from South Africa to India, you will hire one vessel on one time charter trip, and the South Africa to India trip might take like 20 days, for example. So you will pay to the owner hire for every day. And this hire will not include the port cost or the fuel. So you again pay for the fuel and the port cost as well.
Okay.
And you redeliver the vessel once she reaches India.
Quite clear. And during your career, did you have one specific type of agreements, charter agreements you work more, or it's always quite balanced?
I think it depends upon broking company to broking company, and also depends upon the broker. So I'll give you like example of what we do in our company. So in our team, some brokers, they only focus on the voyage charter business because their main focus is on the clients who are either trading companies or mining companies or some manufacturers. And at the same time, they have many ship owners who like to book the business on the voyage charter, or like ship operators who like to book the business on voyage charter. And of course, there are some who only work on time charter. And also there are like a couple of team members who focus on both because they have different set of clients. Someone want time charter, someone want voyage charter, and some people just want to do time charter trips. So I think it's not a choice, but it just when you go with the flow, depends what clients you are able to develop good relationship with, you can do that business.
Okay, quite clear. So when during negotiation process, what kind of terms can you negotiate? The rate, of course, but
no, I think it depends upon charter party to charter party, and also what kind of charterers and owners you are negotiating with. But I think if you are a ship owner, so the ship owner will also always check that what is the base charter party of the contract he is going to use, or he's going to agree with the other party. He will always check whether the quantity charter is providing is good enough for his vessel size. For example, if the vessel is Supramax of 55,000 ton, maybe owners do not want to load only 20-30,000 ton cargo. They will only look for the cargo which can fully load their ship. And of course, they will negotiate the freight rate or the higher depending upon time charter or the voyage charter. And there are other terms which can be negotiated in the voyage charter. For example, NOR terms, and like when the vessel will tender the NOR. And some owners may also try to negotiate on load and discharge rate of the cargo in the voyage charter. Generally, it is predefined by the charters, and you agree the freight rate basis the load and discharge rate given by the charter. But in some cases, some owners may also try to negotiate on that. So I think these are the few main things. And laycan is one thing where also owner may try to negotiate. For example, charters want laycan 15-20 July, but the ETA of the vessel is 14th of July, which is one day before the laycan. Then owners may say that, can you please request charters to start the laycan from 14, and we can do laycan 14-19 July instead of 15-20, because my vessel is reaching one day early, and I can give you maybe few cents discount on the freight if you accept that. So
Okay.
something like that.
Okay. In case of delay from for example, the ship owner, is it, as a shipbroker, do you have some responsibilities in this case?
Yes, like if the not exactly, I would say, responsibility in the charter party, but as a broker, you have a moral responsibility towards your client, so that your clients keep coming back to you, and it's a part of your service to try your best and mitigate any such situation which arises, and it may have a loss either to your owner or to your charterer. For example, if the vessel is coming outside the laycan and you know already, then as a broker, we should always try to find another vessel, substitute vessel, and give it to the owner that, okay, your vessel is getting late, but I found this another vessel. Can you please take this vessel and give it to the charterer, so that
Okay.
charter party and the contract can be performed. And the same way, if let's say your vessel is at load port and suddenly there is a force majeure declared by the shippers or the miners or the charterers, and in that case your owner is stuck at the load port, then as a broker, I think we should definitely try and find out some solution. Maybe we can talk to the charterers and say, can you arrange the cargo from some other nearby load port where there is no force majeure, or can you give some other alternate cargo to this particular ship owner, and we can maybe also try to find some other charterers or some other cargo for that vessel to help our own.
Okay. So it's part of your job to find alternatives.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now I want to ask you, can you share some interesting cases during your experience as a shipbroker? Some anecdotes to share.
I think I think I have one very good experience, I would say, which is very inspiring for me. So I would like to share that. Maybe it inspires other people as well. So there was one of my clients. Like I was trying, as a shipbroker, you make a lot of cold calls to develop new clients, new customers, whether it's a charterers or a ship owner. So there was one very big charterers, and I was trying to call that person, chartering manager, every like 2 or 3 times in a week to get him on the call, and so that I can explain him what we do, what kind of brokers we are, what value we can add. But I think he answered my call only one time, and then he never answered my call again. But I kept on trying. Every week I was calling him 2 to 3 times, and I think almost for 1 year I called him like that, and he did not answer my call. Then there was one day when one of my ship owner he had a spot vessel and he was unable to find any cargo. So he told me that, Prerak, if you have any cargo for like one specific route, he gave me like Indonesia to India, Supramax cargo, this port to this port, I can do, for example, $10. So then I got his rough idea. I got his vessel. I started approaching all the charters I knew who do the Indonesian coal. And I called many of them, my regular charters. They said, sorry, we do not have any cargo for this lake end. Then I remember that, okay, there's another charter whom I'm trying to call for 1 year. He's not answering, but let me try once more. So I called him one more time, and this time again, he did not took my call. So I sent him a WhatsApp message, a short message detailing that I have one vessel and she can do this freight. And these are the terms of the cargo basis which this rate is applicable from the owners. Can you give us some cargo? Then he saw my message and he immediately called me and he said, yes, I have a cargo and I really want this ship. So don't leave the ship and let's try and do our first business together. And then we were lucky. We closed our first business. And after the business was clean fixed, he told me that my message was kind of a savior for him because this charters was also stuck with this cargo and he was not able to find the ship. So I would say it was matter of luck and hard work together. And since that day today, I think that charter is one of our prime customers. And we do now, I think, 2 to 3 shipments every month with him.
Okay.
And it's been like 4 years already.
That's very interesting story, and we can have a clear view of how it works, everything. So it's quite interesting with the demand, etc. Between charterer and ship owner. Very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we should just never give up. Always give one extra push. Always be consistent, and you never know what deal is waiting for you.
Okay. Talking about this, let's talk about why did you create LEEWAY Brokers. So you first started to work with like shipbroking house. When did you have the idea to say, now I want to do everything by myself?
Actually, I come from a business family background. I've grown up seeing my father and my uncle doing their own business. It was not shipping, but they were in other businesses. But I have grown up seeing them doing that. And even I was working as a freelancer during my graduation and post-graduation in some other industries and kind of a small business of my own. But then when I completed my MBA, which was in energy trading related to shipping and energy commodities transportation, I was lucky enough to get the job in a shipbroking company from the campus placement. Like the company came to our university, they took interview and then they selected, and I got the job. I was working there and I was really enjoying shipbroking because I always like to know more cultures, have more friends in different parts of the world. I really like talking to the people, different cultures, different things you understand. And also I would say I was blessed from the market to able to crack decent amount of fixtures. So I was really enjoying. But then one day I thought, okay, let me try to do something of my own, and let me try and do some business of my own because I've seen that in my family. And then like shipping was not my first choice to do a business. So when I started thinking to do my own business, the first research I was doing to bring or to start some franchise of some like very big food chain in India or in Dubai. So like I researched about Five Guys, I researched about Domino's, I researched about one company called Black Star Burger, and I thought maybe I'll take their franchise and open a restaurant. And they were asking me many questions that do you have any prior experience of running a restaurant? But I never had any experience like that. And I also spoke and met to one hair salon chain. So I thought that maybe I can get their franchise and start a hair salon in Dubai. But then one day my wife told me that you are day and night researching about it and want to start your own business. And then why are you trying to do which is something unknown to you? So, and in case even if you take the franchise of any of the chain, whether it's a restaurant chain or a hair salon or something else, you will be really working hard, and at the end of the day you will be building their brand more strong. So why don't you go and start shipbroking and make your own brand? And that day was I think very motivational and inspiring day for me. And then and it was a very good idea from her. So then I thought, okay, why not shipbroking? And then
Wow.
I started shipbroking.
And how did you find the first clients?
You mean after starting my own company or before?
Yeah. After, I mean, I will ask you at the beginning, but first, when you started your company.
So when I started my own company, I was the only one in the team. So it was like one man army, but only for a few months. Like after a couple of months, I started hiring people with me. First client, like I have been when I started in 2018. I was already in the industry for like 5 to 6 years, no, even more, because I started shipbroking in 2011. So I started company in 2018. So I already knew few clients. So I start making calls to them, introducing about the new company, what we are doing, and what is our plan. So I would say there were few clients who were like very supportive, and they really trusted my skills and my services which I have provided them in the past. So they supported, and we started doing our business. I think we started fixing within a couple of days of starting the company.
Oh wow, impressive, impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, and when you start your first day as a shipbroker, I mean the first month, how it is, because of course you cannot fix anything, I imagine. Can you explain the process of starting as a shipbroker?
It was, I would say, very interesting and also difficult time when I started as a shipbroker, because like I told you, I was doing a freelancer work during my graduation and post graduation. So my freelancer work was I was working as a DJ
Oh,
in the parties. So I was more into music and other things. And suddenly, when I joined shipbroking, I always thought that shipbroking would be like you are every day meeting clients, going here and there, and maybe sitting with them for lunch, dinner, and drinks, and closing the deals. But when I joined the company, I realized that it is not like that. You meet clients, you go out, but not like every day. It is sometimes. Most of the time, you're sitting in front of the computer and with your phone and making calls and chatting with people on Skype, and these days on WhatsApp, and maybe on other social media messengers, and then you try to do the deal. So I remember, like for first 6 months, I was not able to fix any cargo or vessel, and I was it was a very difficult time. I was just thinking that I'm really made for this or not. And then just around 6 months or 7 months, I started fixing some Supramax vessels on time charter, I remember, but I think many of them, they were failed on subs. But I was very lucky to have a very good supportive team that time. They said that it's okay, it's a part of any broker's journey, not necessarily that you will get a clean fixture, because as a broker, your part is to fix it on subs. Fixing it clean or not depends upon the charterers and owners. And then I would say from 7th or 8th month, I started fixing clean fixtures. And since then, yeah, here I am. I think fixed a lot of shipments. Still, I just don't even know the count now, how many fixtures I've done.
wow. And when you start, do you need to find a charterer on the ship owner, or the company as a database?
So when I started my first job as a shipbroker, I was given like maybe 5 to 10 clients by the company that you can follow these. But at the end of the day, if as a broker you have to succeed, you must make cold calls, no matter you are working in which company. You must try to find clients on maybe Google, LinkedIn, in some conferences, in some shipping parties, and you can find from many places. These days, it's so easy to find many clients, but of course, it's difficult to make the relationship. So I think no matter in which company you are sitting, you have to make many cold calls and try to develop a relationship, and then you get the real business.
Okay. Is the location important as a shipbroker?
Yes, I think so. Because when I started company, since my background is from India, I was born in India, lived there, studied there, and started working as broker there. So when I started company in Dubai, many people told me that why you are starting it here, why not in India? Because India, you will have less cost in terms of office, in terms of salaries and other things in comparison to Dubai. But I was always very optimistic about having office in Dubai, because I think this is the place, or any rather, for example, Dubai or London or New York or Singapore or these kind of cities uh, where there is many shipping companies and trading companies and other companies have offices, are always good to have your presence, because here you tend to meet many people more often, and that helps you to develop the relationship.
Okay.
So in case you, let's say if I was sitting in India, I would still be doing business, but I would not be able to meet many clients whom I'm meeting now,
Mm.
because in Dubai there are so many customers, and also many people keep traveling to this place, and then you can have a meeting with them, go out for dinner, maybe spend some time and see face to face.
Okay. That's very interesting what you say. Also, of course, what kind of tips can you give for young people who want to work as a shipbroker?
I think just what I notice, I think young people, I would say that shipping is still a very traditional industry. So we have, yes, some softwares, some database to help us now, and connecting with client has become easier than it was 10 years ago. But at the end of the day, it is still very traditional industry, where you have to work hard, where you have to put all the efforts, you have to spend time to develop the relationship and do the business. So if you want an easy life, don't come to shipping industry. If you really want to work hard, most welcome.
Great. Great. I think I asked you all the questions, but if you have more questions, if you want to talk about more stuff, feel free.
No, as I said, I was very inspired by you. Like you're doing a great job at the age of 23, 24. So, which is very nice. I would like to know maybe more about you, how you came into podcast and started this amazing podcast.
That's a good question. Actually, as I told you before, when I started in the maritime industry, so basically I'm come from the yachting industry, so all about yacht in the south of France, so Monaco, Nice, Antibes. And then I wanted to live in another country, so I moved to the Netherlands. So as you know, Netherlands is a big shipping country. So I decided to make
Yes.
my studies in shipping because I wanted to continue working in the maritime industry because I love everything related to the sea, ships, etc. So I did a master in shipping.
Uh-huh.
So I just graduated
Right.
now.
Uh-huh.
When I started the master, I wanted to build my network because I know that
Mhm.
network, thanks to the yachting industry, I know that network is very important. And at the same time, I wanted to be knowledgeable, so
Uh-huh.
knowing
Uh-huh.
because it's important to have the knowledge. And the best way to do it and to share
Uh-huh.
with people like my age and young professionals, it was to make podcasts because you can meet
Uh-huh.
people, you can share knowledge, you can
Uh-huh.
brand yourself, you can, I mean, a lot of benefits. Of course, it's time consuming. It doesn't bring any money on the
Uh-huh.
table, but still, I think it's the return on investment is huge, and I think it's very
Uh-huh.
important to help as well people.
Okay, yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I think that's a very, very good initiative, and I wish you all the best. And hopefully, maybe you have millions of followers
I hope
in near
so.
future.
Yes, I hope so. And for you, a million of employees, if you are looking for to be big, of course. If not, I understand.
Yes, you never know. I always get a lot of inspiration when I see the biggest broking houses in the world, especially those who are listed, for example, in London. And that really gives me goosebumps. And I always want to try and become as big as them, or maybe bigger than them. You never know. So there is no harm in trying our best and see what happens.
For sure. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for listening and watching this episode. We are looking forward to bring you more insights from maritime professionals, experts, and students. Do not hesitate to follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support means a lot to us and helps us to bring you more content.